Welcome back in Sal Magley Stadium. The Americans and Pioneers getting set for Game 2 of action here at the Barber Shop. I'm Andrew Roberts here with Avery Vogt on the broadcast. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster the entire season. Avery Vogt joining us for Game 2 as our color commentator. Avery, how you doing?
It's a hot one out here, Andrew, but we're beating the heat, so it's going to be a nice second game here for these Americans.
Beating the heat indeed. We apologize in advance for any technical difficulties on the broadcast. The heat impacting our computers as much as it's impacting us. So keep that in mind as we pause for the national anthem. Jason Moynihan on the saxophone for the national anthem in both games today. He did a great job. But CJ Hurley getting ready to get on the bump for the Americans. And we will give you the Pioneers starting lineup in just a moment that CJ Hurley will face. Aiden Grabowski leading off for the second straight game. Ty Martineau, the DH, bats second. TJ Gramesti in right field batting third. Brett Baker, the cleanup man in center field. Brandon Dubek, the extra hitter, bats fifth. Michael Palmer at first base batting sixth. Brendan Hammer starting the second straight game. That was not the plan, but he is indeed starting again as John Simmons still dealing with an injury. Anthony Manganiello doing the catching, batting eighth. Liam O'Neill in the 9 spot playing second. And Ben Rohde in left field batting 10th. Interestingly, number 9 is batting 9th and number 10 is batting 10th. Not every day you see that.
Yeah, it's not something you see every day, but it's always kind of a cool thing to see with the numbers and the positions in the batting lineup always line up.
Yeah, just about the only place in these lineups where it lines up, pun intended. But CJ Hurley on the bump for the Americans, a product of Niagara University, facing the Pioneers for the third time this season. 1-3 with a 5.25 ERA and 18 strikeouts. Last time he started against these Pioneers, got the loss, but went 7 innings and gave up just 3 runs. The Americans' bats were struggling in that game. Only 5 hits in game 1 of this doubleheader, so looking to rebound from that. But Hurley's last start was also a struggle. Just 1 inning against Batavia. Got the loss there, so this is an attempt at a bounce back for CJ Hurley, who, while he struggled against the Muck Dogs, has had some solid outings against these Pioneers despite losses.
Yeah, I mean, Hurley's definitely one of those guys I like on the mound. He's a lefty. It's not something you usually see, but let's see if he goes out here today and deals against these Pioneers in the second game of this doubleheader.
The southpaw Hurley will face just 1 lefty in these first 3 batters. Grabowski, Martineau, and Gramesti due up once again to start this game. The Pioneers' first 5 batters all the same as game 1. And it starts off with a low away ball. And amongst all these mascots on the field, a real bird flying over the field, but a line drive into left field.
Nice.
Sliding catch by Tommy Mathay for out number 1. Tommy Mathay preventing another leadoff knock for Grabowski with that catch.
Yeah, it looks like he had to put a little bit of speed on there. Gets there in time for the ball. Makes a nice, easy first out here for the Americans.
I think we could make a whole Sports Center top 10 out of Americans' catches, Avery.
Oh, yeah.
Ty Martineau up next. The DH came into the day batting .274. That's a floater right to Kiefer at second. The throw in time for out number 2. 4-3 ground out on Martineau. Makes it 2 up, 2 down. TJ Grimesti up to bat. Grimesti, the best hitter on the Pios. 379 headed into the day. He was 1 for 1 in game 1 with a sac fly and a walk. Strike 1 to Grimesti here. Grimesti looking for a hit in a second consecutive game of the doubleheader. That's a pop-up in foul territory and goes over everything into the concourse behind home plate. C.J. Hurley, 1 strike away from a 1-2-3 inning. That would be quite the start against these Pioneers. Just outside for ball 2. Americans have notoriously been better in game 2s of doubleheaders. Have lost both game 1s of their previous doubleheaders and won both game 2s. But this one, ooh, way inside, nearly hits Grimesti. And the count is all filled up. I thought for a second Grimesti was going to get a base right there.
Yeah, it looked like it almost bounced off his shoulder maybe, but I think it might have popped out of Delonto's glove here, so he'll stay in the box.
Grimesti. The payoff pitch from Hurley. It's a swing and a miss. For strike 3, C.J. Hurley's first strikeout of the day. 3 up, 3 down for Elmira. C.J. Hurley off to an excellent start to the game. We'll be back with the bottom of the first in the Americans lineup. Back for the bottom of the first inning. We'll give you the Americans starting lineup in just a moment. Here it is. Grant Moore leading off in center field. It's 3 straight lefties for the Americans. Tommy Mathay and Gavin Boyle to follow up Moore. Graydon Miller, the righty, first in the order for righties, but 4th overall at first base. Paul Delonto doing the catching, batting 5th. Chris Gazaldo at 3rd, bats 6th. Alan Ramos back at short to bat 7th. Carmen Panaro down in the order to the 8th spot in right field, the only other lefty in the order outside those top 3. Connor Kiefer at 2nd, and Logan Stickler, the extra hitter. And in the same pitching matchup that happened in Game 1 on June 29th, C.J. Hurley's opponent is Bobby Boeing. Boeing has really turned his season around after a slow start. He's 2-2 with a 3.86 ERA and 14 strikeouts. Second straight Barry University starter for Elmira in this doubleheader.
Yeah, it looks to try to keep this second game alive for the Pioneers, but after that first up for C.J. Hurley, I think the Americans are here for a good game, so let's see if these keep these bats hot to back up Hurley.
Grant Moore with a strike on the count. And now a fly ball into left field. Chasing it down is Rhodey. Makes the grab for out number 1. So Grant Moore starting off this game differently than last time around. Had a big hit, this time flying out into left field. But C.J. Hurley starting strong as well. So both pitchers looking to settle in here. Tommy Mathay, the next batter. A 114 hitter, 364 OPS. Shows bunt, but pulls it back in time for ball one. Mathay, product of Panola College, one of 3 Panola players still on the team. Couple were here earlier in the summer but had to leave. Brady Bowles and Tristan Raley, no longer with the Americans. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Big cut and miss. Mathay goes down hacking right there, but still counted his favor. Line drive into right field, goes over the head of O'Neill for the base hit. First base runner for the Americans is Tommy Mathay. Guy below the Mendoza line with a nice knock to start things off.
Yeah, he just sees a pitch he likes and just drives it to the shallowish part of the outfield, and now we got a runner on first here for these Americans. Let's see if they do some damage here.
Definitely. Tommy Mathay with some speed as well. Gavin Boyle, the DH, up next. Gavin came into the day a 284 hitter with an 877 OPS. Another double today. Inside ball one to him. And we'll see how much the umpires impact this second game. The first game ended with the umpires flipping off a fan, and not just any fan, the American super fan flipped off by one of the umpires after some controversial calls in game one. I mean, that's not something you see every day and not something you exactly want to see at a baseball game, Avery.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was in the Pioneers clubhouse grabbing them some waters during that, so I kind of heard part of that interaction. And, yeah, like you said, Andrew, that's not something you see every day.
Gavin Boyle takes one outside. Up in this count again. 3 home runs on the year. One here would make it 2-0. Boyle. Bat hovering over his shoulder with a 2-0 pitch coming. Goes outside again. And if this trend continues, could be a 4-pitch walk here. But, I mean, these Pioneers pitchers have had a way of recovering in counts today. Brendan Hayes, a great game one for this team. And it's up and away for ball 4. Gavin Boyle takes a walk in 4 pitches. Sends Tommy Mathay to second base for Paul Delanto, the cleanup man. Paul Delanto in that cleanup spot for the Americans. My apologies for the issues with our lineup graphic. A few things shuffled around, but Delanto up next doing the catching for the team. With 2 ducks on the pond and 1 down. Going. First pitch is tipped foul right off the top of Delanto's bat. Doesn't really matter there, though. Strike 1 nonetheless. I mean, could do that would be impressive. Paul Delanto. A 243 batting average, 713 OPS. Did not play with Nick Past at catcher, as the Americans are short at the position after a lot of departures. My apologies, just briefly disconnected there, but Paul Delanto struck out, so those watching, he did not miss much. Chris Gazaldo up next. Gazaldo goes just outside for ball 1. Gazaldo played third in the first game of this doubleheader as well. Looking to keep up the good work at the position and get some hits in this game. Gazaldo in game 1 went 0 for 1. Now it's an even count. That one finds the outside edge of the zone. So 2 down and the count even, with 2 runners on for the Americans. Delanto struck out with both these base runners at their bases. Big cut and miss for Chris. Bobby Boeing 1 strike away from sending the Americans down without a run in this inning, keeping it scoreless through the first. Boeing checks back on Mathay. Now delivers inside and upstairs to Gazaldo. Chris Gazaldo takes another ball. It's 2s across the board. Gazaldo going to advance his runners. It's fouled off. Now a meeting on the mound between Boeing and his catcher Manganiello. I mean, this is a tough situation for Bobby Boeing. High stakes right here, so want to make sure he's on the same page with Anthony headed into the pitch.
2 runners on, a knock here would probably bring in Tommy Mathay, so Boeing's got to make sure him and his catcher on the same page here. Try to get a strikeout, but hoping for the Americans here that Chris Gazaldo gets a knock here.
Chris Gazaldo with an even count and 2 runners on. 2's the magic number right now for the Americans. Can they score a couple of runs? High chopper to the shortstop Grabowski. Shovel for out number 3 at second base. Grabowski to his second baseman O'Neill to end the first inning. We'll send it to the top of the second after the break. We bring you back for the top of the second inning. The second inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards. Great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. Andrew Roberts back with Avery Vogt. CJ Hurley getting ready for a second inning of work. It'll be Brett Baker as well as Brandon Dubek and Michael Palmer due up for Elmira after a 1-2-3 first for CJ. And now Brett Baker coming up to bat. Avery Vogt back on the call now. Baker was also the cleanup man in game 1. In that game, went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and strike 1 there. So Hurley, sun is just starting to lower here at Sal Magley. It's been beating down all day, and now the count is even on an outside ball from CJ. Excuse me, the strike 2 rather.
Yeah,
outside ball 1 now.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Andrew, the sun's beating down here. Hopefully it goes down a little bit. It's been a real hot one out here. I'm sure these players really sweating out there.
And that's a dribbler down the foul line. Third baseline foul. Let's make it 1-2. Hurley, the 1-2 pitch is just in there for strike 3. A very drawn out strike call from the new home plate ump.
So he was real dramatic there with that strike 3 call, but I like it from the umpire.
Yeah, I mean, already in this switch between the home plate ump and field ump. Seems to have this field ump beat with the fan base. Given what happened in game 1 with the overturned home run call and the flipping off of the fan in the stands. High drama. But ball 1 here to Brandon Dubek. Pitch from CJ. It's a line shot.
Nice.
Ramos makes the grab it short for out number 2. CJ Hurley, some quick work in this game. And I mean, last year, an ERA in the ones, at 1.42 to be exact. It was at 5.25 coming into this game, but Americans, fans, and players know what CJ is capable of at his best.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that when he's on, he's on. And, I mean, I know the stats don't quite exactly show it, but he's definitely one of those stronger pitchers here for the Americans. And hoping today he's able to lower his ERA and really show on the stat sheet that he's really about that. So we'll see what he does here today.
Ball and a strike on the count to Michael Palmer. Palmer did not play the first game. So. Now 3-0. My apologies. Thought there was a strike call there. Michael Palmer.
3-1.
And it is indeed 3-1. My apologies for the confusion there. I missed strike up in the press box. But Michael Palmer with the 3-1 count. Ground ball to Kiefer. Sent to first base for out number 3. Back 1-2-3 innings for CJ Hurley. Mastery on the bump. We'll send it to the bottom of the second after the break. Bring you into the bottom of the second inning after this break. We'll give you an update around the PGCBL. Ironbacks ended up mercying the Red Wings 16-6. Funny that as soon as they are eliminated from playoff contention, they have their best game of the season, arguably. Pilots and Doubledays still tied in the top of the first. And for those of you who watched earlier, you'll know that the Pioneers beat the Americans 4-3 in game 1 of this doubleheader. But so far, CJ Hurley looking excellent on the bump.
Yeah, he's gone out there, got some 1-2-3 innings, and what I like to think about these innings is he hasn't had a very high pitch count. Don't know the exact number, but I'd say he's kept it pretty low, which is good. So that means he could definitely go the distance here this game. So we'll see how he deals with the rest of these Pioneers batters.
Already went the distance the last time against these Pioneers, but the real question is whether the bats will back him up this time around, because last time it was a shutout loss. Hurley only gave up 3 runs, but it was 3-0 Elmira. Graydon Miller, high fly ball into left field. It'll drop shallow. And making the grab is Ben Rohde for out number 1. So Graydon Miller, he did have a home run a couple days ago, so if you're optimistic, might think that one's going out as well, but just too shallow that time around. Alan Ramos up next with 1 down and nobody on. Ramos, a 16-game, rather now 17-game on-base streak and 7-game hit streak. And that's a fly ball into right field this time. Caught by Gramesti on the basket catch for out number 2. 2 flyouts in a row to retire the Americans, Miller and Ramos. Carmpanaro up next. Here's Carm.
Oh, seems to be
Played in the first game as a last-minute substitution for Evan Core. And as you were saying, Avery?
There seems to be some seagulls joining up together on the field. I don't know what they're looking for, but
joining the mascot party, perhaps.
it seems like it. Yeah, they seems like they came at the right time.
Yeah, bothering the left fielder Ben Rohde out there right now. No bird boxes out on the field during games, so there's no knowing when the birds are going to come. And now they're flying over the stands, but Carmpanaro takes the ball low to even up the count. I mean, how long is it before one flies into this press box? I'm a little concerned. We have a wide open window right here for our camera.
Yeah, now there's about 20 of them. More like 10 of them down the left
it's
field.
It's a party out
line.
in left field. Carmpanaro looking to join that party. Maybe you can sock one out there. 2 balls, 1 strike on Carmen.
Yeah, we're hoping not to see a little bit of a Randy Johnson incident here, not trying to hit a bird here, but
in there for strike 2 to even up the count. I mean, this has got to be the most dramatic strike calls I've seen out of an umpire, as the Seagulls now are right over the pitcher's head. I think we're going to have to take a little pause here for this, but Boeing now ready after that brief interruption. 2-2 pitch. Panaro fouls it off. It's still 2s across the board. And here comes the herd of fans, or maybe elephants if you want to call them that, to go pick up those foul balls and try and get some free snacks.
Yeah, it's always almost a contest out here, Andrew, to find those foul balls. And sometimes see kids in the concourse looking for them. Yeah.
Up and away to fill up the count. Bobby Boeing looking for the full count strikeout. Has 1 strikeout today. Payoff pitch. Just outside. Carmpanaro takes first base. Breaks up the 1-2-3 inning for Boeing. Connor Kiefer, a red-hot bat, up next. Kiefer finished the last game 1 for 2 with a pair of RBIs. Gets them up to 4 RBIs on the season. Kiefer already came into the day batting above 300 with an OPS above 800. So he's one of the hottest hitters on this team. Upstairs, ball 1 to Connor. Never mind, a late strike 1 call.
Yeah, the one thing about this umpire is he always likes to take a second or two here to get the strike color across. So it's a little confusing up here for us.
I mean, I respect it. The need for accuracy is that's a line drive foul to even things up. Puts the count at 0-2. Connor Kiefer, American second baseman, looking to advance the runner to second base. 0-2 pitch is popped up out of play. Connor Kiefer has a lot of pop-ups, but some of them end up in the stands out of reach for the defense, but kid in a Yankees hat walking down to get the ball. He's collecting foul balls out there. Pitches for the second inning. We'll be right back with the top of the third after the break. Back. Third inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Casella, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Wright Beverages. CJ Hurley looking for his third straight 1-2-3 inning, now against the 7-8-9 hitters for Elmira. Hammer, Manganiello, and O'Neill due up to bat. And Avery. These are, I mean, still capable hitters, but not exactly the best hitters in Elmira's order. So I would argue that CJ Hurley should be unafraid to attack the zone against these batters.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a stretch down here with the bottom of the order coming up here for these Pioneers, but he's going up against two righties and a lefty, so he's going to be unfavored in the matchups against the righties, but the lefty should be on the easier side here for Hurley, but we'll see how he deals with these batters here coming up for the Pioneers.
With mascots out in the outfield, but yes, should be the advantage for Hurley against Manganiello especially. Manganiello also came in batting just .220 on the day. Liam O'Neill lower at .074, but could easily heat up. He was excellent at D2 Bridgeport. Ooh. Inside at the legs of Hammer for ball one. Has retired 6 consecutive batters, looking to make it 7. High fly ball. First base foul side. Goes out of reach for most of the defenders. Nobody was really chasing after that one. I mean, it was either over the fence or at the fence. And if you're Carpenaro out in right field, you don't want to bang into that fence. That's a ground ball. Sneaks into the outfield. First hit allowed and first base runner allowed by CJ Hurley in this game. CJ Hurley was doing something amazing through the first couple innings, but I don't even know if it's worth mentioning that early in the game, if at all. But Anthony Manganiello, the catcher, up next. Pitch, or rather, that was the count of the last one. It goes to ball one on Anthony Manganiello, the catcher. Another line drive right into the glove of Ramos this time around. Was looking to get that up the middle for a hit, but Ramos coming in to make the grab. He was ready for it that time around.
Yeah, Ramos earlier in this game has had a little bit of a. He's a solid defender. He's made those plays pretty easy, and he's been playing some solid defense here for these Americans in this game.
On that one. Liam O'Neill up next. O'Neill. This is the first game he's playing in today for .074 hitter on the year, 433 OPS, 2 RBIs. Takes one low and away for ball one. Liam O'Neill, product of University of Bridgeport. Appeared in all 49 games there where he batted .258 with an .896 OPS, as well as 6 homers and 27 ribbies. So, I mean, on the 2-0 count here, O'Neill looking to walk. But the Pioneers signed the thinking he'd be one of their best hitters. The hits just haven't come for him thus far. Ground ball right to Ramos at short. Out at second, and the out at first not in time. So it's now 2 down in the inning, but the attempted double play just not in time to first base. Ramos to Kiefer a success, but Kiefer to Miller, not quite there.
The ball took like a little bit of a bounce and a hop there on its way to Ramos. Ramos still made the play, but unfortunately with that ball.
drive up the middle, drops in front of Graham Moore for the base hit. 2 runners on. It's a close call at second base as Moore throws right back to Connor Kiefer. But no tag there. Hammer advances to second, or rather that would be Liam O'Neill, who reached on the fielder's choice. O'Neill and Rohde on base as Aiden Grabowski comes up for the second time in 3 innings. Grabowski lined out to left field his first time up. On a nice catch by Tommy Mathey as well. Attempt to frame that by Paul Delanto, but it's going to get in there for strike 1 anyways. Hurley delivers on the 0-1, fouled off, and he's 1 strike away from ending this inning and stranding 2 runners for the Pioneers, or the first 2 base runners for Elmira. Hurley went the first 2 innings without giving up a hit or letting on a base runner. Can he keep it at 2 base runners here in the top of the 3rd? Hurley checks back on O'Neill, now delivers, fouled off again by Grabowski.
Yeah, it looks like Grabowski kind of reached out for that one. Seems like he kind of decided too early that he wanted to swing and just wanted to stay alive, and he fouls that one off luckily, and still alive here, but Hurley definitely favored right now with an 0-2 count, so let's see if he can get the strikeout here.
But Aiden Grabowski, a big opportunity. Time being, but he's got to be careful here against Grabowski. Dangerous hitter. Came in with an average over 300. Hurley checks back on O'Neill, now delivers. It's a fly ball into right field this time. Carpenaro tracking it down, and now under it to make the grab for out number 3. So a fly out to left field the first time up, and now a fly out to right field the second time around. We'll send it to the bottom of the 3rd after the break. We bring you back for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Americans and Pioneers still scoreless. C.J. Hurley giving up his first 2 hits of the day in the top of the 3rd. But Bobby Boeing still going in this bottom of the 3rd to face the Americans.
Sound like a little bit of a Dr. Seuss rhyme there, Andrew.
My puns and love my rhymes. People call me Dr. Seuss all the time. Not actually, but they should. And it'll be Logan Stickler, Grant Moore, and Tommy Mathey up to bat in this inning. Americans got to take the lead, and they'll be winning. But Logan Stickler, the leadoff man for the Americans to face Bobby Boeing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Stickler. Seems to be on the end of the short stick a lot here. Gets robbed of his second.
Like, do umpires have some secret vendetta against him? I don't even know at this point. It's strike 1 on him right there on the outside edge.
This kid score or something?
Yeah, wanted cheater or something like that. He's not even The umpires are the ones that are borderline on that, but it's 0-2 Stickler. Upstairs, ball 1. Stickler looking to climb back in this count. And right there on the outside edge, Logan Stickler still doesn't have these umps on his side.
Yeah,
Strike 3 looking.
That pitch was a little questionable. I can't say for sure if that was outside or not. To me, we'll leave that up to the umpires. As you said, Andrew, the umpire is not his friend there on that call.
Grant Moore up next. I mean, after everything that happened, it makes sense, but still, to the dismay of Americans fans as well as Stickler himself. Ball 1 on Grant Moore now. The 1-0 pitch, a high chopper foul by Moore. About an hour into this one here in the bottom of the third. Pitch from Boeing. Breaking ball, backdoor slider. Puts the strike count in the favor of Boeing.
It's in the strike zone there.
Low ball 2. Back and forth battle between Moore and Boeing. Just got word. A little bit of a late start here, so only around 40 minutes in this game, but big cut and miss by Moore. And just barely looks like a swing and miss, but small foul tip by Moore to keep him in this. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Looking to expand that on-base streak he has with 1 down. Inside, but finds the strike zone. Grant Moore goes down looking. That's 2 consecutive looking strikeouts.
Hard to slip away from that ball, but I guess still hits the corner there from the umpire and calls a strike 3 on him right there. Not something you see every day from Grant.
Not Grant Moore, a rare strikeout victim on the season, has struck out just 15 times. 0 for 2 without reaching base is pretty rare as well for him. Inside and low to Tommy Mathey for ball 1. Certain pitchers have been able to figure out Grant Moore this season, notably Batavia's pitchers. But Mathey with the count in his favor. And it goes further in his favor with ball 2. Looking to get on base for the second time today with 2 down. High fly ball into left field foul territory. Goes out of play. First strike on Mathey. Bobby Boeing looking to strike out the side in this inning. Both of the first 2 strikeouts in this inning have come looking. But it's been 2 swinging, 2 looking on the day for a total of 4 for Bobby. 2-1 pitch. Liner foul again goes into the stands right by the VIP box down the third base line. Intact. Gavin Boyle hit one right into a VIP box window last season. Fouled off by Mathey across the board after a lot of foul balls. Mathey with the even counting 2 down. Boeing looking to do something great, but it's a high chopper to the shortstop Grabowski, and it will be out number 3 at first, but no consecutive strikeouts here for Boeing as Tommy Mathey grounds out to end this third inning into the 4th. We'll be right back. Andrew Roberts back for the top of the fourth inning. Avery Vogt will rejoin us in a few moments. By Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stocka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. Ty Martineau kick things off for the Pioneers. Pios have had just 2 base runners in this game, but the Americans have had just 3. First 1-2-3 inning of the day, Boeing in the bottom of the third. Hurley's had 2 of those, but looking for another right here. Martineau, Gramesti, and Baker 2 up to bat. Gramesti and Baker, Hurley struck out earlier tonight. Outside ball 1 to start things off on Ty Martineau, and we are rejoined now by Avery Vogt. 2 balls on the count early. Martineau grounded out to Kiefer's first time up. Another one just in there on the outside edge of the zone for strike 1. A late strike call makes it 2-1. Low and away.
Stood up, thought he was going to call a ball, but I guess not. It's a strike 1 there.
I mean, this umpire's been taking his time. I like to see it because you know that high fly ball in a left center field. Mathay and Moore chasing it down. Mathay makes the grab for out number 1. So Martineau with a ground out and a fly out today. TJ Gramesti up next. Gramesti struck out swinging his first time against Hurley. CJ Hurley with 2 punch outs today. The end of the first inning and the first out of inning number 2 as well. But ball 1 here. Now the 1-0 pitch upstairs. Count well in the favor of TJ. Gramesti, a hit, a walk, and a sac fly in game 1. Low ball 3. Gramesti looking for that second walk of the day. It's low but catches the edge for the strike. CJ Hurley finding that strike zone on the 3-0 count. Needed it right there. Foul tip fills things up. Gramesti looking to avoid a second consecutive strikeout on his first 2 at-bats. Was not even retired on anything other than a sac fly in game 1 of this doubleheader. Payoff pitch. Ooh. In there for strike 3 on the low corner. CJ Hurley has struck out TJ Gramesti twice in this game. Once swinging, once looking. The Americans were having trouble with him early, as most teams do, but they're starting to figure out the Pio's best hitter.
Yeah, Gramesti there. I don't know if he thought he was going to first there on the walk, but he seemed to get out of the box very quickly and get sent back to the dugout right away.
So far this game 2 on Sunday against the Ironbacks. Grounder makes it up the middle, though, for the base hit. Brett Baker, his first hit not only of the game, but the entire day in 2 games played. Struck out looking his first time up in this one. Also struck out twice the first game, finally reaching base.
Yeah, he just gets a nice single up the middle, and Haley's got to deal with the runner on first here. But I have enough confidence in him. He'll get out of this inning.
Brandon Dubek, 2 down and 1 on. Ball 1 early. Dubek lined out to Connor Kiefer his first time up. Kiefer's been busy this game generally, as has the entire infield, though. Big cut and miss. The pitch, blazing speed, ends up bouncing right off the entry to the stands behind home plate. Count is even. Hurley on the breaking ball. It's too far low and inside. 2-1 on the count as the home plate umpire confirms. Dubek dives for it, but misses it. 2 consecutive singles for Elmira. It's their 3rd and 4th knocks of the day. Singles as Michael Palmer comes up next. I mean, is this Love Island? Because these Pioneers are full of singles. Here's Palmer. Outside, but finds the corner for strike 1. Palmer has Baker and Dubek on base. Another swing and miss. CJ Hurley 1 strike away from ending the inning with his 4th strikeout of the day. Gave up 2 hits each of the last 2 innings after a pair of 1-2-3s. High fly ball into center field. Grant Moore tracking it down and makes the grab for out number 3. Pioneers retired despite another pair of singles. We send it to the bottom of the 4th after the break.
This season, you can interact with the Americans like never before with up-close and exclusive content. You can follow us on our pages on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Those ats are on your screen right now as Gavin Boyle comes up to bat. Big shout out to Frankie Morris and Leah Fraun, our social media managers, keeping that up and running all season long. Ball 1 on the count to Boyle here. Sends that. Oh, it was almost caught by Brendan Hammer on the liner, but not in time. Gavin Boyle gets the hit anyways. He's been on both times today. Walked the first time around, now a single. And I mean, had it not been for the leap by Hammer, it would have been well into the outfield. So a nice save, likely saved an extra base hit, but bobbling it, so no out there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a wall there and stops the ball from getting to the outfield. Kind of like the Wile E. Coyote trying to catch the Roadrunner. Puts up a wall there, but saves it from being an extra base hit.
Yeah, lots of Roadrunner ballpark when guys steal bases. We'll see if Gavin Boyle tries to steal here. Not known for those steals the way some Americans are, but has some speed himself. Delanto, a big cut and miss for strike 2. 0-2 with nobody out, and Gavin Boyle on first base. The second hit of the day for the Americans. First was by Tommy Mathay. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss again. Paul Delanto has struck. Rough go for him in this one. Chris Gazaldo up next. Delanto, such a hot start to the season, but some strikeout troubles and troubles refinding that power in recent days. It's 1 down as Gazaldo comes up, another big cut and miss. It's Americans swinging at everything right now. Where's the patience that we usually see out of this team?
Yeah, that's something. One thing I like about the team is the patience. You know, maybe it's hot out, maybe not as patient, but we'll see if they can refine that as this game goes on.
Reminder that patience is required in life in and out of baseball, and sometimes the patience and outside life runs low, and it can affect that patience on the diamond. But one's across the board here to Gazaldo. Ground ball to Grabowski at second. Out at second, the throw to first, not in time. A fielder's choice, just short of the double play. Americans had a very similar one on Liam O'Neill earlier today. But Graydon Miller up as Chris Gazaldo takes the place of Boyle at first base. Miller 0 for 1 in this game with the fly out to left field. 0 for 2 with a walk at game 1. Miller is line for a base hit. The ground ball will get Gazaldo all the way to third, but it's going to be close. He slides in safe just in time. Runners on the corners. Third hit of the day for the Americans, and their first runner on third base the entire game.
Sends a hot shot down near like the first base side, and has enough distance on it that Chris Gazaldo advances to third, and now got a favorite player on the team, Alan Ramos, up here. Maybe he can drop in a hit here and get our runner across here for the Americans.
Alan Ramos. I mean, who better than him to come up now? He has a 7-game hit streak he's looking to build on. Outside for ball 1 on Allen. Hitting a walk in the last game. Flew out to right field his first time up this time around. Alan Ramos rising. Looking to recommit after decommitting from Wagner. High chopper sent to first. It is just in time for out number 3. So the run is going to have to wait for the Americans. We're still scoreless through 4 innings after the Americans threatened to score the first one, but they leave 2 on base as we send it to the top of the 5th. We bring you back for the top of the 5th inning, and this 5th inning is brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Could use them on this hot day. Call 716-8700 for expert service. I think their next project is to put an air conditioner in this press box, Avery.
Yeah, it's heating and cooling, but wouldn't really want that heating part here on this hot day here.
Inside ball 1 to Brendan Hammer, who's up for the 2nd time today. Singled his first time around. Takes another one low. C.J. Hurley struggling with his strike zone early in the 5th inning. Update around the PGCBL. Auburn and Newark still scoreless through 3. Only other teams to play today were the Ironbacks and Red Wings. Ironbacks mercy Geneva 16-6. Geneva has now been mercied 2 days in a row, so Another cold spell for a team that, quite frankly, has fallen out of the playoff race.
Yeah, it's just personally, if that's me, that's not having a fun time there. If you get
Just barely strike one on the 3-0 pitch from Hurley, though. But yeah, not a fun time for the guys over at Geneva. I mean, we've talked about this over the course of the season, but they even had a pair of twins, Cause and Parker Zeiser, move from Geneva to Newark midway through the season. I don't blame them.
today and yesterday's game for Geneva, I don't blame them too either, Andrew, because when you're getting whooped like that, it cannot be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Newark right down the road from Geneva, and if you can't join them, I guess. But next up, Anthony Manganiello with a runner on. That's low and away. Delanto with a nice stop to keep Brendan Hammer at first. Paul Delanto comes in to meet with C.J. Hurley. He was clearly caught off guard by that one. Got to get on the same page with his pitcher. And game one, there were 6 runs scored and home plate to make it 1-1. Nello. Hurley looking to continue what's been his best start yet against these Pios. Throw on the pickoff attempt not in time, and Miller was off the bag anyways. So would have had to really catch Hammer on a big lead to complete that one. Foul ball down the third base line, gonna fly over those stands right near Deb's Beer Garden, it appears. Kids chasing it down anyways. They're gonna have to climb down those stairs. Looks like the ball left the stance. But 1-2. Hurley delivers, and it's up and away. Relatively close to the zone, but can't quite catch that corner. Hurley hasn't seen that many batters, so continuing to learn this umpire strike zone. Swinging a miss, and there's strike 3. I mean, you can't get the strike zone right. Throw the heat, might get a swing and miss.
Yeah, I say no need for the strike zone there, especially with a swing like that. And
C.J. Hurley with his 4th strikeout of the day, and it brings up Liam O'Neill. O'Neill 0 for 1 on the day, a 6'4" fielder's choice his first time up. Outside, but the throw to first time for out number 2. The pickoff right off first base. Guns out the runner Hammer. Hammer hammered a single earlier, but out right there. Upstairs to make it 2-0. Liam O'Neill at second base today. Can also play shortstop, but Grabowski's been a staple there. Finds the outside edge this time around to make it 2-1. Pioneers out hitting the Americans 4-3 in this game after they outscored them by that amount in game 1. Fouled off to make it 2-2. Twos across the board. Pitch from Hurley. High chopper. Gazaldo comes in for it. The throw is
nice
in time for out number 3. The Americans, their timing on point on every single throw this inning. The pickoff route and the ground out across the field for out number 3. We send it to the bottom of the 5th.
Hey fans, you or someone you know have a birthday coming up? Why not spend it with the Americans? Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large 10 drinks, a customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans baseball, and special recognition at the game. Starting at just $175. Sign up online at www.
And we are back for the bottom of the fifth inning. We'll keep it here, speaking of Wegmans, for the Wegmans Kids Run after this fifth inning. Just barely missed it last time, but we'll get it in there in game two. And Carm Panaro, Connor Kiefer, and Logan Stickler due up. And a player has gotten tossed for the Pioneers after a close call at first base. Jackson Grant tossed out of the game, a reliever for the Pioneers coming out of the dugout. Out of the game. So Avery, tensions are high here. Americans had some issues with the umpires in game one, and now the Pioneers complaining.
Yeah, it seems like the umpires are the enemies here. I mean, you can't always say that because the umpires are trying to keep the game civil and fair here, but after some questionable calls, I can see why the tensions are high here, Andrew.
How about this? Baseball players 7, umpires 0.
I can agree with that one, Andrew.
Carm Panaro takes the ball outside to start this off. That was again the field ump who had those strike calls after the controversial foul ball call last game. The field ump last game that overturned the home run is now the home plate ump, but I'd argue has called the more accurate game behind the plate than in the field.
Yeah, I mean, can't really pick and choose your umpires here, but after having a doubleheader, you got to switch here. But yeah, I'd say he's been more consistent behind the plate here today.
3-0 pitch to Carm, and in there for strike one on the low outside corner. Not a lot of 3-0 ball calls, though. A lot of those getting called for strikes, a little generous towards the pitcher. But a high pop-up down the left field line, and it goes foul into the stands. Boeing's pitch. Boeing's in the stands. It's 3-2. And as the sun, Magley, the lights are coming on. Temp is cooling down. A beautiful night to watch some baseball. Isn't it romantic?
Oh, it's
First time up, looking to do it again with the full count. Here comes the payoff pitch from Boeing. High fly ball into deep center field, going back, but Baker follows to make the grab on the warning track for out number one. A lot of these Americans things like that. Connor Kiefer up next. Was a ground rule double in the first game for the Americans. Kiefer, a double of his own in game one, knocked in 2 runs on it. First pitch, line down the third base line. It drops just foul. Another close call on the foul line.
Yeah, that one was smoked by Kiefer there. It looked like it was going to stay fair, but as you can tell by all our reactions up here, just one foul.
Just barely a foul ball on Kiefer. Had a nice extra base hit last game. Can he hit another in this one? The 0-1 first. Ground ball right to Grabowski. The throw to first will be in time for out number 2. So instead of the extra baser, it'll be a ground out for Connor Kiefer. Grabowski to the first baseman, Palmer. Retires Connor for the second time today. That 4-game hit streak is in jeopardy. And next up is Logan Stickler, the 10-hitter. Grant Moore on deck. Americans hoping to bring him up this inning for the 3rd time today. Ball 1 outside to Stick. Stickler has struck out twice since the missed home run. Or rather 3 times, but it's 2-0 to Logan Stickler on this count. Dribbler foul into the netting to make it 2-1. Stickler still has this count in his favor. Logan Stickler, the 2-1 pitch, popped foul as well. My apologies, a brief loss of the camera here. Got it right back. But Logan Stickler with 2s across the board, looking to keep this inning alive. And it's ball 3 to Stick. Just inside and high.
Bit of a leg kick there from Boeing.
Payoff pitch here. Swing and a miss. This time Stickler chases, and he's frustrated. 2 strikeouts in this game. Boeing another 1-2-3 inning. Americans have left 5 on base but scored none. The Pioneers have left 4 on base and scored none. A true pitcher's duel as we send it to the top of the 6th after the Wegmans Kids run. Yankee Doodle Dan looking to keep his undefeated record. Avery, any doubt in this race right here?
I mean, the numbers don't lie, but from the start, looks like, oh, Dan cuts off that kid. And
one. Yeah, maybe some dirty play from Yankee Doodle Dan. Dirty Doodle Dan right there, but he wins anyways. Undefeated record, still alive. Well, it's 6 games for the Americans as well, but they're still in 2nd place, so I'm sure the team will take that. Just looking to avoid getting swept in this doubleheader, and they should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, no runs have been scored so far, but hoping for when the Americans come back up to bat, get a run or 2 across to put something on the board here, but it's been the same story here for the Pioneers with both no runs across the board here for either team.
And it's a new pitcher for the Americans. C.J. Hurley done after 5 scoreless innings. What a day for Hurley. But it'll be Aiden Klimzak taking over. And we see Klimzak friends and family in our live YouTube chat. This is your moment. Aiden Klimzak back on the mound. Also pitched last in a doubleheader. He made the start against the Ironbacks on Sunday. Went all 7 innings, had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning.
Yeah, I don't know how true this was, Andrew, but I heard from the box office Klimzak had about 40 tickets or so, give or take, set aside for friends and family, so he's definitely got a crowd out here for him today.
Yes, Aiden Klimzak, the big star here for the Americans, just won PGCBL Pitcher of the Week after his complete game shutout. Aiden Klimzak ready to go against Ben Rohde. Aiden Grabowski and Ty Martineau due up next. And I mean, lots of birds here at the stadium, but notice in recent days, perhaps the most common animal here at the stadium is the mayflies. It's thousands of them.
Yeah, those things are.
They love the lights.
Yeah, those things are nasty, especially when we're locking up the stadium. You could just look at the lights and you see thousands of them all just crowding around those lights.
And on this humid evening, they are out and enjoying the warm weather. Much to the dismay of the humans in the stands. Ben Rohde up next, Aiden Grabowski and Ty Martineau due up after him. Interestingly, and I mean this makes sense for a Saturday evening game, the crowd has picked up in Game 2 compared to Game 1.
Yeah, I mean,
South Magley.
Rightfully so, especially with the sun setting. It's a little bit cooler here, so definitely going to attract a few more fans.
Klimzak's first pitch goes outside for ball 1 on Rohde. Yeah, temperature has dropped over the last few hours. Started the doubleheader at 90 degrees. It's now at 86. Up above the helmet of the batter, Rhodey, to make it 2-0. Klimzak looking for that strike zone and looking for that same success he had on Sunday. Drops low and just misses. 3-0 on the count. And Aiden Klimzak's first inning of work after 5 by Hurley. I'd argue his best start of the year, but it's a 4-pitch walk from Klimzak to Rhodey to start things off.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Andrew. Definitely a terrific start here from Hurley. Start off the game with a 1-2-3 innings for the first and second, and only gave up about 4 hits, so not a bad outing hit for him today here.
What he's been lacking over these last couple starts has been run support, especially against these Pioneers. The Pios and Bobby Boeing held the Americans scoreless in both the games he's pitched against Hurley. That pitching matchup has occurred twice now. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful on Rhodey as Aiden Grabowski, the leadoff man, comes up for the 3rd time. Pair of flyouts on the day. Or in this game, rather. In the first game, had a leadoff knock. Ended up 1 for 4, but it's 0-1 to him here from Klimzak. Aiden Klimzak finally has a count in his favor. Big cut and miss, and taken off for second is Rhodey. Throw is errant, he goes to third. Moore throwing in, it's going to be close, and the tag is there as he slides in. It's a tie, and tie goes to the runner. But it's 0-2 and an error on the Americans. But now the home plate umpire saying that Rhodey is out. Call overturned, and it's out number 1 on Elmira. Bases emptied, but an error for the Americans that got him to third in the first place.
Is he out, or does he look like he's going back to first?
Grant Moore
Oh, he's out.
Grant Moore, an excellent throw from center field to third base to just barely lay down the tag on Rhodey.
Yeah, that was a cannon from Grant Moore in center field, but seems like the runner's going back to first.
So 0-2 on the count. Moore with an excellent throw. Now it appears they're calling it a foul ball. So they're sending Rhodey back to first base. That throw and error, all of it washed out.
Yeah, that's a good thing on the stat sheet for the Americans, but
Klimzak just looking to complete this strikeout now. Playing a little catch with Alan Ramos to get loose. After that mayhem, these umpires have made for a lot of controversy today.
they call him out? Seems to be a new hitter.
Yeah, they are going to call the batter out. Ty Martineau up next. Very confusing series of events here. So Rhodey's on first with 1 down. Ty Martineau up next. Throw to first. Not in time. Now Klimzak readies for his at bat with Martineau. Just outside, but finds the edge of the strike zone. Strike 1 on the Pioneers, and it feels like everything's reversed over the last game. Umpires were frustrated with the Americans, and now they're frustrated with Elmira.
Yeah, I mean, especially getting so frustrated with the other team, they get to toss someone. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying the umps are favoring the Americans now, but that was a nice strike call there. By
And I
the
mean,
umpire.
a good umpire does not let frustrations impact their calls, but some things that, as a fan of each team, you question over these 2 games, and Ben Roney takes second base as it's ones across the board now on the low ball. Ty Martineau 0 for 2 on the day. Ground out and a fly out. Ben Rohde on second for him. High pop-up into the shallow outfield. Ramos backing up, but it'll be the left fielder Tommy Mathay to make the grab. Ends up more of a proper fly ball for out number 2. Same spot Martineau sent the fly out in the 4th inning, and now TJ Grimesti, who struck out twice against Hurley, facing Klimzak for the first time. And as a righty, striking out twice against a lefty, what are you going to do against a right-handed pitcher if that's how your day's going?
Just walk back to the dugout. I don't.
But
not
TJ
too sure.
Grimesti having a good day overall in the first game. 1 for 1 with a sac fly and a walk. Big cut and miss by Grimesti.
Yeah, you would think, Andrew, with the lefty of Hurley pitching, you would think with the righty being in the favor, but Grimesti had no dice on it, so now he's got to face the righty on righty battle here.
Grimesti, the only all-star for the Pioneers, been their best hitter all season long. Today, been mixed results against these Americans. Tore them up in the last doubleheader. Was just taking bases left and right. Going extra bases as well. A low ball 1 to him to even up the count. With Rohde still on second base, now 2 down. Beautiful sunset here at Sal Maglie. As the lights come on at the stadium, they could not be brighter for these teams. Upstairs at the helmet for ball 2 on Grimesti.
Yeah, one could argue too, Andrew, that the lights are bright here for the umpires too as well.
Yeah, I would argue that as well, but the 2-1 pitch for Klimzak coming up. Checks on second base, and it's in there on the low edge for strike 2. 2s across the board. TJ Grimesti looking to avoid a 3rd strikeout. In this top of the 6th, Golden Sombrero unlikely, but 3 strikeouts, not too great either. 2-2 pitch from Klimzak. Instead, it's a pop-up. This one in the shallow infield. Connor Kiefer's under it. Makes the grab for out number 3. Connor Kiefer retiring Grimesti for the 3rd time in this game and the 4th time today. But the only time in the last game was a sac fly. So much better results for the Americans this time around. We'll send it to the bottom of the 6th after the break.
Oh, it's the
This
bottom.
6th inning is brought to you by Wegmans, Coca-Cola, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. If the Americans manage to score 3 runs in this game, all the fans in the stands will walk away with a free McCafe Frappe. In fact, they'll get one already from the first game. It was a 4-3 loss, but Frappes were reached in that one. I also had the chance to grab some lunch at McDonald's today. Got some more ranch snack wraps. Big fan of those. Want to try the spicy one next time, but
Yeah, no, Andrew, never tried any of those, but from the way you talk about them, they sound pretty good, so might have to grab one for myself as I grab my free frappe.
I'm a sucker for chicken wraps. But Avery going to tell us a little bit more about group outings here at the Americans as we head into the bottom of the 6th.
Hey fans, we'd like to thank everyone for coming out to the park tonight. Remember that Americans game is a great way to bring your group together, whether it's at school, church, business, or your sports organization. Americans are also able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization or business. Reserve your group online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com.
Bunt showed and pulled back by Moore. It's ball 1 on the count. But yes, a great place to bring your group together. Aiden Klimzak has a big group out today. Perfect example. Low and inside, strike 1 to Moore.
Yeah, the umpire switched up on us there and threw the strike up call right away.
Yeah, there's been a lot of drawn-out strike calls. Foul ball. Almost hit a couple kids on the head, but caught in the glove right off the fence, and that's an impressive grab.
Maybe we'll see that kid in the Americans uniform in the coming years for him.
Possibly. The 1-2 pitch. Moore fouls it off again. Who's going to get this one? Someone down by the beer garden. Deb's Beer Garden serving all the alcoholic beverages here at the barbershop every single game. 1-2 pitch to Moore. Outside over that righty's batter's box to make it 2-2. Moore takes it inside. The count is full. Grant Moore, his on-base streak is in jeopardy. It's at 31 games. He has yet to get on base in this one. And it's the bottom of the 6th. Can he take ball 4 right here? Instead, it's a fly ball in foul territory, caught for out number 1. The third baseman, Brendan Hammer, coming down with it. So Graham Moore hoping to get back up one more time in this game. The Americans going to need to either extend this into extras or start rallying if they want to do so.
Yeah, it'd be great to see his on-base streak keep going here. So hopefully the Americans can start hitting the ball here and bring him back up to keep that streak alive.
I mean, even if it ends tonight, great season for him. Line shot into the right field for a base hit and more. Tommy Mathey headed towards second, and now he's going to stop there. Thought about third base. Oof. Almost picked off on the way back to second, but a double for Tommy Mathey.
Yeah, Mathey there just made some really solid contact with that ball. Drove it out to the right field. Right fielder had a little trouble with picking up that ball, but Mathey extends that into an extra base hit, and now it's a great look for the Americans here with a runner in scoring position as Gavin Boyle comes up to the plate here.
Tommy Mathey, the latest American to heat up, has a 2-hit game, single and a double. That's the first extra base knock by either team in Game 2. Meeting on the mound, Bobby Boeing talking this out with his catcher Manganiello. Gavin Boyle, who's walked and singled, up next. And if there was ever a time for that 4th home run, this would be it.
That'd be sweet, Andrew. The nice deep ball here for Gavin Boyle. Put the Americans up by 2 runs, and wouldn't be the most comfortable lead, but hey, it's a lead, so would be very nice here to knock in 2 runners.
Right now, there's no lead at all. It's still scoreless. So yeah, I mean, the Americans will take anything they can get. They were able to win a 1-0 game in a Game 2 of a doubleheader at the Ironbacks on Sunday, and Klimzak was the pitcher for all 7 innings in that one. Looking to close out this game this time around. If the Americans can score in this inning, Klimzak will have the chance for the save when he comes back out. In fact, it would actually be the win. My apologies. As the Americans would have their first lead of the day.
Yeah, regardless, though, Andrew, still give my flowers to C.J. Hurley. Had a great out today. Didn't give up any runs, and would be good to see Klimzak close this out, and like you said, earn the save and get the win. So we'll see how the rest of this game goes.
Definitely. Gavin Boyle, the next customer, looking to knock in Mathey. He's gotten on base twice today already. First pitch low and away for ball 1. Walk here would put runners on first and second for Paul Delanto, but Delanto's had a pair of strikeouts. Not his finest day. Sure he can rebound. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside, some close shaving on Gavin Boyle. Let's put ones across the board. And gets inside again. That's too far inside for the strike call. It's 2-1. Boyle has been frustrated with some umpires over the course of the last couple of days. There was a strikeout in Auburn that stuck with him for a little while, but hopefully with these umps can get on base. Matei has a lead towards third, and that'll just find the outside corner of the zone to even up the count on Gavin. Boyle struck out a couple times in game 1. So far in game 2, has reached base every time up to bat. 1 down, runner on second. Boyle, pop fly into left field. Ends up more of a deep fly ball, and no, it's going to drop for the double. Gavin Boyle into second.
Yes!
Tommy Matei scores. The Americans put a run on the board. They lead 1-0 thanks to Gavin Boyle.
Yeah, it looked like Gavin Boyle was just going to have a deep shot to left field and get the out, but it drops and he gets a double, and now a runner comes across for the Americans. Now they got the 1-0 lead. Love to see that here for the Americans.
Gavin Boyle has progressed every single time he's come up to the plate in this game. First a walk, then a single, and now a double. Gavin Boyle, the second straight doubler for the Americans after Tommy Matei. Can Paul Delanto make it 3 in a row? That's the question. Still just 1 down. The Americans could use some extra insurance. Line shot in the left center field, and it drops down into the glove of Brett Baker. Boyle thought about tagging up, but will hang on at second. 2 down. Delanto finally making contact in fair territory, but caught by Baker for out number 2.
Yeah, it would have been nice there if it was deep enough for Boyle to advance to third, but unfortunately, no dice there. And can't be mad about this inning, though, as the Americans are up 1-0. So we'll see what my favorite player, that's Chris Gonzaldo, but still love Chris Gonzaldo. He's a great player.
Chris Gonzaldo been retired on 6-4s twice in a row. Ball 1 to Chris. Breaking ball ends up outside on him. Boeing still going in this bottom of the 6th, but gave up his first run and the first run of the game overall. Fly ball into deep left center field. 2 fielders coming after it. It's caught by the left fielder Rohde for out number 3. 2 consecutive flyouts end the inning, and Strand Boyle on second. But a pair of doubles give the Americans the 1-0 lead as we head to the top of the 7th after the break.
No, I'm kind of
My fellow American fans.
We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the 7th inning. The Americans now lead 1-0. Klimzak loosening his arm. He's got the shot for the win right here. And this top of the 7th inning, as well as the entire 7th inning, brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. Brett Baker, Brandon Dubek, and Michael Palmer due up to face Aiden Klimzak as the Americans look for another 1-0 victory in a Game 2 of a doubleheader.
Yeah,
with Aiden Klimzak on the mound. So many parallels.
Yeah, I mean, Klimzak coming in, trying to get this win here for the Americans as they put a run across. So, I mean, they're up. They got the lead here. So let's see if Klimzak can close this out here and secure at least one of the 2 wins here for these Americans.
The unfortunate thing about this is hit streaks / on base streaks are going to be snapped for all 3 of Grant Moore, Alan Ramos, and Connor Kiefer.
Yeah, I mean,
unless the Pioneers manage to tie it, but the Americans looking to get out of this right here and sacrifice those streaks.
yeah, as much as I would see Grant Moore want to come back up to the plate and try to get his on-base streak alive, I think it'd be good here for the Americans to get and close out this game here in the top of the 7th.
Be a clean slate for these Americans. Just focus on the present in a tight playoff race. We're in the home stretch of the season here. Every single game matters. And the Americans are going to put the team first down the stretch. Brett Baker, number 1 on his jersey number and number 1 in this inning for Elmira.
Yeah,
More
he's
parallels there. I mean, he's 4th in the actual order, but leading off this inning.
And he might be the first run across here from the Pioneers, but gets the first strike there.
I mean, the Americans sure hope not, but a swing and miss for strike 1. If only he came in with 1 out, then it could be a grand set of ones across the scoreboard. Klimzak. 0-1 pitch. Is up and away. So now 1's on the count to number 1 at the very least.
Yes. One's across the board except for the outs there, Andrew.
Absolutely. And now this big cut and miss as Baker chases on the outside pitch. There's a 2. And it's strike 2. So in the favor of the Americans in this 7th inning. Americans will have a day off tomorrow, followed by 5 straight games Monday through Friday. Pop a fly ball down the third base line is caught by Tommy Mathay for out number 1. 1 down, 2 to go for Aiden Klimzak and the Americans.
Yeah, it looks almost like the same ball that the Americans hit. But this time, the Americans come down with the ball and don't give up a run here. So great start here for these Americans in the top of the 7th.
Absolutely. And it'll be Brandon Dubek up next. 0 for 2 in this, or 1 for 2 rather in this game. Singled and lined out. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Klimzak throws one on the low outside corner to put 1s across the board, 1 at bat late. 55 up to bat. Brandon Dubek looking for his 2nd knock of the game. Low and away for ball 2. Or, excuse me, going to be a late strike call. Aiden Klimzak. The 1-2 pitch. Drops low, evens things up. Temp continuing to drop. Going to be a more pleasant day outside. 85 degrees now. It's just outside for ball 3. Delanto, you could see him trying to pull that into the strike zone.
Yeah, trying to almost bait the umpire to give him the strike call. Unfortunately, umpire's not biting at it.
Definitely not. Count is full. Payoff pitch from Klim. Ground ball right to Gazaldo at 3rd. Throw across the field in time for out number 2. Pioneers down to their final out, and it's Michael Palmer. Palmer today is 0 for 2, but among the better Pioneers hitters. He's a 2nd-year Pioneer. Did not play much last summer, but getting more playing time this time around at first base. A 250 hitter and 752 OPS coming into the day. Pop up in foul territory, out of play, right below the press box. It drops. You're going to hear the herd of elephants coming to grab it in just a moment.
Yeah, Andrew, I've heard of elephants. Have you?
Oh, yeah, me too. Of course I have. They say elephants never forget, but I don't either. Except maybe the count on occasion. It's 1-1 to the batter, Palmer. Pitch from Klimzak is swung on and missed for strike 2. Aiden Klimzak, one strike away from finishing another doubleheader game for another 1-0 win. Can he do it on this 1-2 pitch?
Oh.
It's low. That final strike and final out will have to wait. 2s across the board. The Americans went 5 innings without a run. Finally scoring the 6th, and now the chance to end it right here. Line drive into center field. Grant
Yes!
Moore makes the leaping grab. The Americans win. Grant Moore's the hero. 1-0. And Moore may have lost his on-base streak, but he certainly made an impact on this game. The Americans win 1-0 and split the doubleheader. The Americans are Game 2 masters this season.
Yeah. Like you said, Andrew, unfortunately they dropped the first game, but if you can't win them all, at least win one of them, and that's what the Americans do here. They pick up the second game, and can't be mad about at least winning one out of the two, so it'll be a good night for the Americans here.
And I'll give Aiden Klimzak his flowers for finishing that game, but I think player of the game has to go to C.J. Hurley. 5 scoreless innings. It is his best start of the season, in my opinion, by a good amount. And C.J. Hurley looking to build on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you, Andrew. C.J. Hurley was out there dealing today. He doesn't have any runs to come across, and Klimzak kept it going, like you said, so I definitely give him his flowers as well. But, yeah, Hurley with a strong start here for the Americans, and he only got one run in run support, but with that one run wins the game, you can't be mad about that. So, great game for the Americans here.
And, yeah, if you have to include a bat in this, I would give it to Gavin Boyle. Guy reached base all 3 times, single, double, walk. Got better every single time. He had the sole RBI to knock in Tommy Mathay.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin Boyle, like you said, got on base a lot and drove in that final run, too. So I would also give my flowers to Tommy Mathay. He was the guy that got on base with that double and was eventually the guy that came across to score. So both those batters had a great day today here in the second game. So all around a good game here for these Americans.
The Americans finishes out 1-0 to all our viewers for both games today. We thank everyone for tuning in. And Avery, thank you for coming on the broadcast for Game 2.
Yeah, it's always a little different here. Sometimes I'm on the call, sometimes I'm not, but it's always a great time to call up here with you, Andrew. I love doing this.
All right, thank you so much, Avery. And one more big thank you to all our viewers. But for now, this has been Americans Baseball. The next game will be tomorrow, or excuse me, it'll be on Monday against the Niagara Ironbacks. First pitch in that one, Monday night, 6:30. The Americans will also be back at home to host the Batavia Muck Dogs on Tuesday. First pitch in that one at 6:30 as well. But be sure to tune into those games. And for now, this is Andrew Roberts.